The only part of the day that felt a little uncomfortable was knowing that at some point I have to take my pants off.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give you some lube.
My initial thoughts were it might be a little uncomfortable to do this on camera with my business partner next to me.
Yes, the clitoris likes to be stroked.
Women are biohackers by nature. We're Lauren and Katie.
We're taking a look at the wildest health hacks,
Wellness treatments,
and the most cutting-edge biotechnologies,
we're taking you inside.
and unlocking the secrets only women could.
This is Biohackers. Tantric Sex is an ancient Indian practice that emphasizes self-awareness, deep breathing, and slow and intimate connection. We're about to meet the famed Tantric guru, Lauren Harkness, to find out how Tantric practices can transform more than just our sex lives. I expected Tantra to be this weird practice where you sit on each other and look into each other's eyes and it just be something I didn't want to do. But I've never had a Tantric experience like this before. Join us as Lauren takes us through an intimate Tantric embodiment practice and one of the most primal biohacks out there.
Pleasure to meet you.
Self-pleasure.
My mission is to support people's wholeness through the inclusion of their sexuality in their daily lives. So we're gonna do some tantric embodiment practices to help you stimulate your sexual arousal or life force energy.
What does it entail? I was a little bit skeptical / worried about what I had to do because I didn't know what to expect.
We're gonna do some sensual breathwork and meditation, and then we'll do a practice that I call peaking, which is a self-stimulation practice.
And are we gonna do this together?
If you're open to it, yes.
Okay.
My initial thoughts were it might be a little uncomfortable to do this peaking exercise on camera with my business partner next to me.
Most women feel overwhelmed by the thought of doing these practices together. It's kind of a taboo thing to touch yourself next to someone else or in a room full of people. But really, truly, we've been doing these for centuries as women connected in groups. And I find that women actually feel really close and connected by doing it together.
Are you up for that?
Yeah, I could wear my sunglasses if that helps.
I don't really differentiate between sexual energy and life force energy, and a lot of these practices I do every morning in my meditation.
Oh my gosh, she just makes all of this taboo stuff feel so normal and comfortable and healthy.
So we'll start with an intake. You can go ahead and have a seat.
Sure.
It's to find the deeper places in people in their psyche where they're blocked or where they're held back around their sexuality. What do you feel like your relationship with your sexuality is right now?
Almost non-existent in a small way. I had twins 2 years ago, and my sex life has been very different since having kids. We're exhausted. Sex has been the last on our list. So I'm actually confused what sexy even means for me right now. I used to have a stronger sexual practice with myself personally. When I have my sexual energy, it just comes across as confidence. And I loved that side of me, and I felt like that died. And I don't really know how to show up in that same capacity. And I miss that.
So it's not like there's necessarily an agenda for connection that looks a specific way, but how do I feel myself, how do I feel myself and exude that out with others? So I'm kind of hunting for the places where I feel the blocks are the most present.
So I don't have twins getting in my way. I guess my main concern was that in the last year and a half, I haven't been drinking and I've been working a lot and finding it hard to switch off. Drinking loosens you up, and I did find that it kind of put me in the mood a little more. I'd love to have some practices that take the place of trying to relax with alcohol and get me in that space where I'm ready to receive and give pleasure.
So with Katie, what I really heard from her was something that I think a lot of modern women struggle with, which is that they want to feel that surrender or that ability to go out of control sexually or intimately, and often, alcohol is a pathway for that. It's really important for each individual, even in a couple, to have their own self-practice. I decided to take them through several different embodiment techniques. So go ahead and close your eyes and go inside. Breathwork and meditation and sensual movement. Begin taking long, slow, deep breaths, and then make the sound of what you feel as you exhale. So when you vibrate the vocal cords, you're actually doing vagal toning. The vagus nerve runs up the front side of the body, through the nipples, through the throat, into the brain behind the ears. So learning how to make sound actually stimulates more arousal. Allow your spine to begin to move like seaweed in an ocean. Using the breath, sound, and movement can cue the body to let go and to loosen up. Put your attention on your pussy. This is connecting you to your animal instincts. We start to move the sexual energy up and down the spine while they're going into more spiritual places or trance-like states.
So you exhale, rolling back, like you're stirring the cauldron in your yoni or your pussy.
I think they did a fabulous job of kind of dropping into themselves and feeling, and you actually could see it happening. Their cheeks started to flush. They had like a glow about them.
Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I really love that.
I felt like so much like pressure and just stress melt away.
So this is a jade egg or a yoni egg. So it's inserted into your yoni or your pussy so that your G-spot will hold it like a ledge. And then I'll be guiding you through a series of exercises.
When she pulled out the dish full of yoni eggs, my first thought was like, wow, this is going inside me.
This is a Taoist technique. It's thousands of years old. You tone your vaginal canal, you have stronger orgasms.
Is there any chance of it getting stuck inside you?
Everyone asks me that. No, there's
Okay.
nowhere for it to go.
Okay.
I wasn't necessarily worried about it at all. I was kind of excited to see what it felt like.
So why don't you go ahead and insert your eggs and then I'll reset the space.
So what, do I come back with no pants on or with pants on?
Oh, with pants on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
But it was actually quite easy. You know, put the egg in, like you literally forget that it's even in there.
So take a long, slow, deep breath in.
And we did pelvic tilts and squeezing the pelvic floor around the egg.
Lift your hips as you inhale. Squeeze your muscles. Roll your spine down, exhaling with sound and movement.
There are 3 bands of muscles in the vaginal canal, so you can learn how to pull the egg up and down.
Go ahead and get on your hands and knees for cat-cow.
If you have a male partner, you can learn how to massage them inside of you without moving. What Lauren and Katie got out of the yoni egg practice is just more presence and awareness on their sexual organ.
I guess what it felt like is sort of the initial stages of being aroused. Suddenly when you're doing these exercises, the area kind of lights up.
How do you feel?
Very relaxed and calm.
Awesome.
A little turned on too.
Are you ready for the next step?
Yeah.
We'll conclude with something that I call peaking.
Peaking is a clitoris stroking practice that's designed to expand your range of how much you can feel.
We're gonna lay in a bed and pleasure ourselves to feel good while releasing anything that comes up.
All right, you can go ahead and lay down. So we're learning how to follow arousal in our body.
My initial thoughts were it might be a little uncomfortable to do this peaking exercise, on camera with my business partner next to me.
There was some nervousness, but both of them were so game to try it.
And if you pull your hood back, you always have contact with your clitoris, but your emphasis is on up. That's called an upstroke. Take yourself up on the arousal wave and you hit the ceiling where you can't feel any more sensation expanding in your body. Instead of efforting for a climax, you'll want to lighten your pressure a little bit, take a deep breath, and then switch your stroke to down.
I was super relieved to find out that we're not supposed to orgasm because that's very vulnerable.
I consider it to be orgasmic. It's just not like that climax where your muscles are tensing and going hard and fast.
And what if we get really excited and want to touch other places?
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for
What
it.
other place?
Take your
There's more
breaths.
stuff going on down there.
Yeah, if you want to penetrate yourself, you can. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you some lube.
Lauren's energy was so healing and made us feel so comfortable that I totally trusted that she was gonna put us through a beautiful experience.
So go ahead and close your eyes and begin to breathe those long, slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And whenever you're ready, you can start stroking tiny little strokes in that upward direction.
You're bringing your pleasure up and building up to the orgasm. But instead of taking yourself there, what you do is actually start to stroke down and bring that intensity down a little bit.
If you were just having your typical climax, here's where you are. But when you're peaking, you're going up and then you're going down and then you go up again, and usually you're going higher than that last peak.
And you're expanding that pleasure zone to something beyond what you were initially gonna get if you just went straight for that orgasm.
At a certain point, I felt like I could have climaxed, but per the instructions, when you got to that space, you were kind of supposed to start to slow things down.
I felt a peak there, so why don't you switch to down?
That actually felt good too, to not just strive towards climax, but to just kind of stay in the state right below it.
Because I've been training so rigorously, my body is very attuned to what I'm feeling and sensing around me. My body was starting to vibrate with their orgasmic waves, and I could feel where they were at. They can feel me and I can feel them.
I felt no one but myself. I was very into the practice that I was doing.
And if you feel like you want to switch, you can go back up again.
could definitely feel, the blood flow going through my body. I could feel my face flushing.
I expected to feel more embarrassed or more conscious of the way I was breathing or reacting, and I didn't at all. I think it was Lauren that really created this safe space.
Okay, now switching to the final downstrokes. You want to go longer, slower, like you're taking your body down, like you're an elevator coming to the ground. And time. Now you want to place both hands right over your pussy mound and push, like you're pressing the blood back into your body. And you'll feel like you've landed on earth.
What I've discovered for myself is that the more I practice peaking, the stronger my climaxes are, the more I can feel in my sexuality, and the more I feel connected to my body.
How do you
That
feel?
makes meditation interesting.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
The idea of self-pleasuring yourself is you're releasing all these happy chemicals and feel-good chemicals, which is what meditation is supposed to do in the first place. You're just using a technique and a stroking action to help put your body there.
It helped me drop into this deeper state that I don't normally get because I find meditation quite hard.
But to do this really helped me get out of my head into this state of relaxation and self-pleasure and acceptance. And it was amazing.
I had a big aha moment, why haven't I been doing this the whole time?
Yeah, I loved how there was no pressure to climax.
Yeah.
Feeling almost that maximum amount of pleasure. Then you get to the point where you're almost having this out-of-body experience, and it doesn't have to end, and that's really cool.
And I love watching people having breakthroughs and aha moments around their sexuality, or having a healing experience where they get to feel more pleasure in their life. It's really fulfilling work.
And how did it feel doing it next to each other? Was that weird?
No, not at all. Nothing of it felt weird, actually. It felt very, primal.
Didn't know if watching what we just went through was going to tell the story enough of how we actually felt. Because we felt, both of us were just whoa, we feel so good. That was so healthy. There's no shame. There's no normal negative emotions that you have after pleasuring yourself, especially in front of cameras and next to your business partner. None of that was existent. It was just acceptance and love and openness and great feeling. So it was just wow.
I think a part of my mission is actually to help sexuality become more mainstream, or to destigmatize it so that it can be a normal part of people's lives.
We're human beings. Unlike any animal, we're wired for pleasure. It increases blood flow and circulation. It brings more oxygen to your brain. It releases happy chemicals. It's a really important biohack just to be your optimal self.
So I think people mistakenly think that it's all about sex, but it's not. It's about embodiment and wholeness.
My initial goal going in was to find some way to unwind and relax so that I could feel more like having sex or feeling pleasure. And I think I definitely made progress toward that goal, because not only did I find these concrete ways of doing that, but I also had a new spark and motivation for why that was important.
I could totally see myself doing this before I go to approach my husband about it, because normally I go to approach my husband about sex and it's all built up with we haven't had sex forever, what's going on, and then I spew this onto him, and that's not sexy. Whereas if I came to him more warm and open and already pleased, I think he would be more receptive to my energy and what I'm putting out there.
This experience definitely changed my understanding of what Tantra is, what a kind of gentle, beautiful, healing, ritualistic experience it was.
The whole day and experience was just so profound and so healing for me, which you wouldn't think would have came from masturbating.